I grew up in the 80s in the West Coast, where there was a big rivalry between the Bloods and the Crips. I moved to Sacramento, California, and guess what? The Bloods and Crips moved right along with me. Gunshots! And of course, that same culture of shooting people who are innocent and just selling drugs everywhere happened to invade the Del Paso Heights neighborhood in which I lived. And stop the show. I thought for a second if I should join, but gunshots! I realized then that I was a bitch and I was better suited for studying and going to school and later doing YouTube videos after not deciding to be a doctor after graduating medical school. So I wanted to be a civilian and not commit crimes because I wasn't ready to go to jail. And hearing what happens to guys in jail, put the clap sounds. Wasn't trying to get or risk cheeks getting took. Fast forward, Demo. But that's not the case for some other people. Other people want to do the crime and not necessarily do the time. So when they're out there stealing or doing criminal activities or just being an asshole, everything is going great. Gold teeth, cars, women or men, more booty clapping sounds, and living your life abundantly until, well, the police decide to get on your tail because you have committed a crime and now you're going to jail. Now you got a choice. You're in the room with the detective and you have your life on the line. You can either snitch and go free or get a reduced sentence, or you're going to get football numbers like 30 years for all the money you stole as an elected official or drug dealer or anything else. What are you going to choose? Choose. That's what's happening to Tiffany Henyard and those people around her. The FBI is trying to close in on her. That's why the rap group The Roots, one of my favorite groups of all time, created an album called Things Fall Apart. And things are falling apart for Tiffany Henyard. But stop the show. Remember when I told you about the FBI coming to the city of Dolton and then to Dolton Township in South Holland? Guess what? They're back.
I'm happy that justice is being served.
Dolton trustee Brittany Norwood reacts to the latest federal subpoena served Monday at Dolton Village Hall, asking for all payments, expense reimbursements, per diems, and credit card expenditures for Mayor Henyard, beginning just before her election in 2021.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the People's Mayor and People's Supervisor.
The same information is also requested for Henyard's top assistant, Keith Freeman, and a pair of businesses controlled by Freeman, as well as several trustees and village employees who've traveled with Henyard. The subpoena also shows the FBI is looking into complaints by Dolton business owners whose licenses have been held up by the village, asking for licensing information for 10 bars and restaurants, including 2 that were raided and closed by Dolton police in February, Rinky's Bar and Pablo's Cafe and Bar, after Fox 32 visited those businesses to ask about their owners' frustration.
It's like 10 police cars came in and they start pushing customers from here. And he said, if you don't leave, we're going to lock you up.
And it's clear the feds are focusing on all the expensive out-of-state travel by Henyard and her crew, including first-class plane tickets, asking for travel records for all trips, but specifying Washington, D.C., Las Vegas, and Portland, Oregon.
They're questioning the finances because that's been a real big concern of mine as a board member. We've been wondering how the money is being spent.
So they're going after all of these records. They're going after all of the financial instruments that were used to commit these crimes. But wait, rewind! Let's look at who's falling before her. There was Andrew Holmes, Mr. Cheek Taker, who looks like O.J. Simpson, rest in peace, with that afro. And he dances pretty good if you look at this video. I mean, man, he's an awesome twerker. Booty clapping sounds! Fast forward. Then there is Keith Freeman, who obviously is tall. I heard he's like 6'4", 6'5". Maybe he wasn't good enough playing basketball because he was too busy committing financial crimes. And then he's been hit with a bankruptcy fraud case from the FBI. are from the federal government. And the lawyer is saying this now.
We've had a couple of questions directed to me about whether or not this indictment means that the government is effectively trying to squeeze Mr. Freeman into cooperation. And I think that question is a question better put to the government. And the record will show overall that Mr. Freeman for many, many years has been a trusted public steward.
Stop the cap.
They think the charge is just too much or simply lying about your reported income. They wouldn't do that to nobody else, right? Well, I think he is actually right. You see, the reality is when it comes to Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, they are trying to close the doors in on her. And somebody is going to tell or admit or reveal information that, hey, look, she did X, Y, and Z. And remember, the former chief of staff talked about employee harassment once she finally quit as the chief of staff of Dolton.
Employee harassment. We have been told on numerous occasions that we will be fired if we do not comply. Numerous occasions that we'll be fired if we didn't comply. If we went to board meetings with the trustees, we'll be fired. If we went to tea with the trustees, we will be fired. If we return FOIA requests, we will be fired. In fact, if anybody been to the village hall, do you remember where the HR lady sat? I had to give up my office downstairs to put her down there so the trustees and the clerk couldn't get to her.
So now, what do we want to know? Who is going to come forth and tell and admit that Tiffany Henyard was running a criminal operation? And how many years will she get? I don't know, but I can tell you that Tiffany Henyard is on Facebook acting as if no weapon formed against her shall prosper. She is out there posting things about how God got her back, God is going to protect her, and all of these things will pass. She's right. They will pass when your ass is in prison in cell block D getting 10 years. But once they make a movie about your ass, at least you'll be able to get some naming rights to pay for that restitution that's coming out. And then there is the Kamal Woods guy. Now, Kamal Woods is also a person that works at Dolton Township. And he's a married man who allegedly is about to be a divorced man. And he's posting on his Facebook like nothing ever happened and he's going to be all right too. I just don't know. But I think that Tiffany Henyard is in a lot of trouble. Let me tell you guys something that's important for you to know. Humans are influenced usually by what's around us. Even if we know that something is wrong and then we shouldn't do it, we'll still do it because, well, either our livelihood depends on it or we benefit from such an instrument. And the instrument in this case being corruption. You gotta think, that little money that you're getting right now is only for right now. It's not something that's gonna sustain you for the rest of your natural born life, because when it's corrupt, you're gonna get caught. Look at British Williams. I mean, this is a chick that had her whole life ahead of her. Single mother, rebounded from bad situations, got into the Basketball Wives episode, could have did anything in the entertainment industry. Well, just too greedy, got amongst some greedy people, started stealing people's social security numbers, and now look at her. She's in prison taking pictures like this. The question is, will it be you? Will you have the ability and the strength to say no when you know that something is wrong? I hope that you do. Don't want you to end up like Tiffany here in these penitentiaries. Can you know sound effect? Guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all you just heard the bell. We're out.